You're connected to Business Wrap. Find us online at businesswrap.biz, on Twitter using handle AskBizWrap, and on Facebook just search Business Wrap. And now, Michigan Reimagined with Chris Buck.
So support for entrepreneurship in Michigan can be found in a lot of places. And in mid-Michigan, you're going to find LEAP, the Lansing Economic Area Partnership, usually leading the charge. Here to discuss the newly unveiled One&All Program, a brand new series of resources targeted at a specific group of people, are our friends from LEAP, the Vice President of Entrepreneurship and Innovation, Tony Willis, and the Vice President of Marketing and Communications, Victoria Meadows. Welcome, Tony and Victoria.
Good morning.
All right. So, Victoria, if you don't mind kicking us off here, tell our listeners who aren't familiar with LEAP exactly who you are and what your mission is.
All right. Well, first of all, Chris, I just want to say thanks so much for inviting us this morning to talk about LEAP and what we do in the One&All program in particular, which is a component of the economic development work that we do. LEAP is an economic development organization, and we serve Clinton, Eaton, and Ingham counties primarily with this program, One&All. We also are serving Shiawassee County with the program. Fundamentally, our work at LEAP is centered on building a stronger regional community for everyone in the Lansing region, and we do this by attracting businesses and people to the Lansing region, helping those who are already here grow and stay here, and by enhancing the physical environment and diversity of our communities. And one aspect of making all of this happen, of course, is the entrepreneurial ecosystem of our region, which, if I understand correctly, we're going to dig into more deeply here.
Yes. Perfect. That's a great intro. Thank you. And I really do appreciate you joining us. And then, so Tony, as the Vice President of Entrepreneurship and Innovation, what specifically are you responsible for and what programs do you oversee?
Yeah. So with that, Chris, and following what Victoria mentioned, as my title and role explains, I oversee all of our efforts to engage and develop the entrepreneurial culture within our region, as well as the innovation culture. And so some specific programs, we have our pitch competitions like the Hatching, our Youth Expo event, which is to engage and encourage and also have young students see entrepreneurship as a possible career path that we've done for the last 6 years. Also, we oversee, as my role with our innovation side, some of the tech transfer correlations between the Michigan State University and our local state resources. And then as well, our newly introduced program, which is One&All, which is definitely focused on helping empower those that might have been underrepresented historically in the entrepreneurial journey.
Okay. So, yeah, that's a great kickoff. So who is meant to be the beneficiary of the One&All program?
Yeah. Victoria?
Well, yeah, sure. I'll take that if you don't mind. Primarily, One&All is designed to increase successful entrepreneurship and small business ownership, tying into what Tony was saying, for residents of Clinton, Eaton, Ingham, and Shiawassee counties who fall at or below the asset-limited, income-constrained employed threshold, which is referred to as the ALICE threshold. In essence, it's a program for people who want to start or grow a business but lack the necessary financial resources and network relationships to do so. And this is a really important factor because we know the beginning of the business life cycle is the riskiest time for entrepreneurs and small business owners. And it's also a time when funding, knowledge, and networks uniquely influence the likelihood of success. Additionally, another aspect that is important here is to note that 81% of funding for new business ventures comes through net worth, family wealth, and network connections. And this is really what we're addressing with the One&All program.
Okay. So the ALICE threshold that you mentioned, and you gave us what that acronym stood for, but in practical terms, what kind of numbers are associated with that? Does that vary by county or by state, or is that a number that's kind of fixed across the U.S.? How does that work?
It does vary. It varies by state. It varies by county within the states. And in Michigan, to give a little bit more realistic view of what this really truly means, we're talking about a household's ability to to address the 5 basic household necessities, which are defined as housing, childcare, food, transportation, and health care. It means that a household earns more than the federal poverty level, but less than the basic cost of living for the state. And in Michigan, the most recent figures indicate across the state that's 43% of households fall at or below the ALICE threshold. So nearly half of the state's households are unable to meet these basic needs. And this is actually pre-COVID, of course, but even since the COVID crisis, the Michigan Association of United Ways, who is a champion of this research, has released new figures that show an extreme disparity, an extreme racial disparity, actually, within Michigan households, indicating that 63% of Black households in Michigan fall at or below the ALICE threshold, compared to 36% of white households. And of course, neither of these figures is acceptable in any way, but we have to acknowledge this disparity, and it actually relates to this program and the focus of this program very directly.
Staggering numbers. That's unbelievable. So the One&All participants are going to go through a program. We've talked about the program, but what exactly is the program going to entail?
Tony, do you maybe want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So the program is a cohort-based model. So it allows, the individual participant to be grouped with a number of other people that they can lend on and build relationships with as well. Because entrepreneurship is like anything. It's better to have individuals that you can share your experiences with and get their guidance and perspective as you on your own journey together. So it's a cohort model. It goes from 8 weeks of time from start to finish. Right now, just like everything, pretty much it's all virtual, where the lessons are virtual, where they have educational resources. So we have partnered with the Small Business Development Center, the SBDC here, our local chapter, which will have a number of educational workshops and seminars for our participants to go through. There also is a mentorship piece to this, which is a key. We have a number of established entrepreneurs and CEOs of different companies, big and small, throughout our region that have volunteered their time to provide insights to help mentor people. Because when we think of somebody who might be in this threshold of underserved or underrepresented, and the ALICE, it's not just the capital, the actual cash capital. It's the other social networks. It's the educational networks that they want to help them grow to help establish their business. So having a mentor piece is crucial to that. Then finally, there's also the actual cash capital, where at the completion of the program, each participant receives $2,500 in seed funding to go towards their business idea or their pivot of their business idea if they already were in existence. So it really complements a myriad of areas where somebody or someone would need assistance with.
Okay, so you mentioned obviously we talked about the ALICE threshold, but I was going to ask about, what other requirements does an applicant need to have to be considered for this program? So you said that they could have, do they need to have a business plan and something that's kind of already up and running, or just an idea? And then who does the vetting as to who's going to come into this program? I would imagine you have a limited enrollment opportunity.
Yeah, so it's for both. It's for just the idea. You can just have an idea and apply for the program. I have a business plan. We'll work those details out throughout the program. You can also be an existing business too. And we do have a selection committee that's very diverse from all different aspects and categories to make sure that we can see somebody for truly who they are and understand what experiences that are pertaining to those individuals themselves. We don't want just the cookie cutter mode. We want to make sure we hear a wide variety of voices to make sure that we understand where our participants are at in their journey and how the One&All program is to best assist them. So you would apply. It's pretty much a single form application with details about you, your idea, your business, things you're trying to pivot, develop, hurdles you may experience. Then we have a review committee, which will then review those and make recommendations to our CEO about which ones that should be go through the program at this time.
And the program, is that going to have a finite kind of start and stop date? You mentioned, I think you said it was it 8 weeks?
Yeah, so the program itself, the cohort's 8 weeks, but the entirety of One&All is for being this is the first time ever, it's a 2-year program. So we'll have cohorts after each cohort continuously for 2 years. So from October 2022 is when, there's a possibility the program will end. But then we're always looking to reestablish more funding and reevaluate the program at that point in time. And our funders, come from the MEDC, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, as well as Consumers Energy Foundation, came in big as funders to get the program started.
Fantastic. Okay, so the MEDC and Consumers Energy Foundation are basically the stakeholders that are helping this get going for a good couple of years. I think that's fantastic. Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you God, I'm sorry.
No, they came in major in their contributions, and in this program we've thought about as a team at LEAP. This actually was, submitted, proposed last fall actually, and so, but it just the current circumstance, everything else where we're in right now, it kind of shows that the relevance is very much needed in today's time period.
Right. And you mentioned the mentors. I think that's a really important component of this. You said that they're just local business leaders that did a kind of a vetting process, and they're going to be a part of this cohort, huh?
Absolutely, yeah. And we have a magnificent range of mentors from all different industries and backgrounds. You think of your local coffee shop owners or franchise owners, to different retail or tech background experience, to CEOs of local credit unions and beyond, or high-level VPs at different insurance institutions that are all, volunteering their time to support the entrepreneurs throughout this cohort. So there's quite a myriad of skill sets and backgrounds that they will lend their experience to help push our cohort members forward.
Excellent. So, Victoria, how can people learn more about this opportunity? It seems like it's going to be really important to get the word out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're promoting it, obviously, in every channel that we have access to, but there's, of course, a website set up with a lot of information for both folks who maybe are interested in participating as a mentor. We're looking for mentors at any point in time. Additionally, for folks who might be interested in also helping to fund this program or helping to fund the continuation of the program. And then also for applicants who are interested in participating in the program, they can find information on LEAP's website at www.purelansing.com/one-and-all, and that's the spelling of one and all, yep. ONEANDALL. And then we're also on social media and Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and that's just at Pure Lansing on any of those platforms. And then finally, Anam Mughal is the coordinator of this program. She's LEAP's manager of new ventures, and you could reach out to Anam at purelansing.com to connect with a direct human.
Fantastic. And she's a wonderful direct human, I can tell you that.
Yes, she is a wonderful direct human.
So in our minute we've got left, I'd like to hear about the results you're hoping for. I would imagine, like any business plan, you're kind of thinking about what's going to come out the other side of this. What are you hoping to see?
Yeah, I think, I guess one thing, and I'll let Tony sort of tag onto this and wrap it up, is, this is about accelerating the rate at which people are able to find economic mobility. It's very difficult to move from an income bracket where you're not able to meet your basic household needs rapidly to a place where you are.
You're spot on there, Victoria. And along with that, some direct numbers, Chris, is that during this time period, to service at least 120 different entrepreneurs throughout the program itself, probably around 80 different mentors to come in during this time, which will then engage them to be even further their volunteerism in the entrepreneurial space. And so all those things will play a role to help reach that goal, which is the upward mobility of their current state.
Fantastic. We've been speaking with the vice presidents of LEAP, Victoria Meadows and Tony Willis. Thanks so much for sharing the One&All program with us today.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.